Annunciation House is an organization that is now 40 years old. It operates houses of hospitality right on the United States-Mexico border in El Paso, Texas. El Paso is one of the major crossing points for refugees and immigrants. When they enter the United States, we provide hospitality to some of those refugees and immigrants. So Annunciation House came into existence after more than a year of discernment by a group of young adults. One day, when someone who had no place to go, we referred to the Salvation Army, they came back and they said, "Where you sent me, they will not help me." And we said, "Why? You're homeless. Why won't?" And they said, "Porque no tengo papeles," because I'm undocumented. We didn't know that in El Paso, in 1978, there were only 2 shelters, and neither of those shelters would provide lodging if someone was undocumented. What would be one of the groups that God would identify with? And the answer was very clear: the undocumented. So we started saying, then you can stay with us. And there came to be a day when in this building, we had over 115 people. All word of mouth, all of them undocumented. The numbers of people that have stayed with us are no longer in the thousands, nor even in the tens of thousands. We're now measuring them in the hundreds of thousands. The idea that if tomorrow we allow, say, 25,000 Central Americans to come in, the idea that those 25,000 people are going to increase crime, that actually is measured. And the FBI will tell you that the safest communities in the United States are communities that have large immigrant population. People don't want to hear that. People want to say, no. Look in the newspaper. Here it says, an undocumented person shot someone. Well, if that's how we're going to have our discussions, then here's an article. This doctor was arrested for malpractice. All doctors must be terrible doctors if we're going to use that way of having discussions. If we make any changes in asylum law, that people are going to come in and basically they're going to lie. They're going to lie to us and people are going to be given asylum. That's not the way asylum works. You have to document your claim. That's one of what makes it so hard to even get asylum. We are working with a woman that is presently in detention here in El Paso. She's from Ecuador. She passed her credible fear and she's now going to immigration court. And she was given a day by when she had to submit her asylum application. She has to turn in all her supporting documentation because once it's submitted, the judge can refuse to accept any additional documentation. This is her application. Okay? Now tell me how easy is it for someone to show up at the bridge, at the port of entry, and say, "I'm afraid, give me asylum"? How easy is that? All of this was done pro bono. But it gives you an idea of what an asylum application looks like. It's very challenging. I'm one of those people that will challenge other people to define for themselves, who do I really want to be? As a U.S. citizen, why do you even want to give asylum? Why not just withdraw the United States from the convention? Let's take back, we signed up, we helped create it. Mm-hmm. Then why don't we withdraw? Why don't we just pull out and say, we don't believe in it? Why don't we do that? Because we like to think of ourselves as people that are committed to the dignity, to the viability, to the integrity of human beings. We like to see, you know that big statue in New York Harbor? We look at that statue and that fills us with pride. We like to say, that's who we are. And right now, we're finding ourselves in a real predicament because we're also saying we don't want these people.
Wow, these are really reflective.
Yes, yes,
Oh, I
yes,
do not have
indeed.
shades.
Robin Hoover has worked with the state government, with individuals to get permission to cross ranches, to put these on private property, to put these on public property.